Okay, sige. So, let's now continue our discussion with next disease, which is your lymphatic filariasis, or tinatawag din po siya na elephantiasis. So, ano nga ba yan? Sabi natin, lymphatic filariasis, a parasitic disease caused by several species of microscopic thread-like worms. So, ibig sabihin, maliliit na worms daw to, which is belong to the family of your Filarioidea. So, it is extremely debilitating and stigmatizing disease that affects men and women and children. So, the adult worm can only live in the human lymphatic system. So, kaya sa lymphatic filariasis, ang inaatake ng worm is yung lymphatic system natin. So, although it causes extremely disability, gross disfigurement, and untold suffering, the disease is rarely fatal. So, hindi naman siya namamatay. Ang problema dito, di ba, sabi nga, other name is elephantiasis. Lumalaki yung part ng katawan ng pasyente. Kaya nagkakaroon ng problem or nagkakaroon ng disability. For example, lumaki yung legs. Diba? Nahirapan tuloy lumakad yung pasyente. Okay? So, kindly watch the video that I will present para makita nyo ano ba yung tsura ng pasyente na merong filariasis or elephantiasis.
It's only now, to be precise 19 days ago, that Raimundo arrived here at Dr. Godoy's clinic. For the first time, he's receiving proper treatment. It's having a profound and noticeable effect. This disease is difficult for some people to look at, but the tough part for me is knowing that Raimundo has to live with it every day.
Now, this is very hard to believe, but this is actually a considerable improvement on when Raimundo first came in here. When he first came, Dr. Godoy couldn't touch his hands. He couldn't get his arms all the way around the leg. There was a gap of about a foot, something like that. So already a dramatic improvement. And the aim is to get this leg equal to the other one.
In order to achieve that, Dr. Godoy has designed a simple and effective treatment.
Fica fácil. Segura a peça para fazer uma bandagem.
All of this extra bulk, most of it is liquid. The skin obviously stretches to accommodate that. So in fact it is possible to get rid of this quite quickly.
First, the leg is wrapped in bandages. Then it's laced into this, a special type of corset. The compression device gently squeezes the leg, forcing the lymph fluid out as the corset is tightened up throughout the day.
The leg is also raised slightly, the gravity helps that process. And then every hour or so he's going to go and relieve himself, because what's happening to that fluid? The kidneys are filtering it, they're processing it, it's being eliminated from the body.
Dr. Godoy's simple methods have provided a true revolution in the treatment of elephantiasis. His results with past patients have been nothing short of miraculous. The hope now
Sound?
success.
I'm just trying to put myself in Raimundo's position, and the fact is I actually can't. The odds were just ridiculous. One mosquito biting him. And I think if that was me, I don't think I would have survived mentally, spiritually, to arrive at the point that he has eventually arrived at now, where finally, after all this time, there is hope.
Ayan po, so kung makita ninyo, ayan. So kung makikita nyo, so ang nangyari, dahil nga diba namamaga or naapektuhan yung lymphatic system niya, so lumaki yung legs nung pasyente natin. So yun po yung nagiging problem natin sa merong filariasis. Okay? So, yun naman pong etiologic agent, sabi natin, there are 3 types of thread-like filarial worms. So, worm siya, pero ang nagtatransmit niyan is yung ating mosquito. So, meron po tayong tinatawag na Wuchereria bronchocroti. So, it is responsible for 90% of the cases. And this species is common throughout the tropics and subtropic area. So, ibig sabihin, yung mga tropical countries, doon siya common na nakikita. So, we also have your Bruguea malayi. Accounts most of the remaining cases and is found in India and Far East. Also, we have your Bruguea timori affects the people in the Indonesia. So, doon siya nakikita. So, common po dyan yung Worcesteria bancrofti. So, last year yata o last year, if I'm not mistaken, so lumabas po to sa question sa board exam. Ano daw yung pinaka-common etiologic agents or types of filarial worm na nagkakos ng filariasis. So, sabi nga, paano daw natin yan natatransfer? So, this disease is transferred from person to person through the bite of mosquito. Diba? Si mosquito, siya yung nagdadala mismo nung parasite na yan. So, pag nakagat ka, mapakapasok dun sa katawan ng pasyente yung worms na yan or filarial worms. Okay, so what will be the signs and symptoms? Sabi natin, symptoms vary according to the type of filarial worms that cause the infection. But all cases usually begin with chills, headache, and fever between 3 months and 1 year after the insect bite. So, ganun siya katagal. So, 3 months to 1 year, pwede nun palang lalabas yung symptoms. Okay, there will be also swelling, redness, and pain dun sa arms, legs, and even the scrotum of the patient could also be affected. Pwede rin pong lumaki po yung itlog or yung bayag po ng pasyente. Okay, abscess may appear as a result of dying worms or secondary bacterial infection. So, namamaga, tapos nagkakaroon ng parang nana dahil sa mga namamatay na ng mga worms o nagkakaroon na ng infection siya. So, these patients are not only physically disabled, but suffer mental, social, and financial losses that contribute to stigma and poverty. Kasi imagine mo, di ba, kagaya nung kanina yung pinakita ko sa video, di ba, ang laki ng legs. So, ano nagiging problema? Di ba, socially, di ba, or mentally, naapektuhan. Kasi di ba, puso yan, tutuksuhin. Di ba, ano pa, di ba, hindi makapagtrabaho. Kasi nga, di ba, medyo nagiging limited yung pagkilos ng patient natin. Okay, diagnostic procedure. Sabi natin, circulating filarial antigen or CFA test is performed on finger prick blood droplet taken any time of the day and provides results in few minutes. So, kukuha lang ng sample ng patak ng dugo, then makikita na magiging positive yung patient. Okay, the larva can also be found in the blood, but because the vector are active at night, the larva are usually found between 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. Doon siya active na gumagalaw yung mga larva na yan or yung mga initlog-itlog ng mga worms na yan. Okay, when taking patient's history, look for the patterns of inflammation and signs of lymphatic obstruction. So, tingnan mo, ano ba yung mga lumabas sa symptoms? Saan ba nagkakaroon ng mga pamamaga yung pasyente? Diba? Doon yung mga tine-check natin. So, treatment. So, bibigyan po natin yan ng gamot. So, we have your ivermectin, albendazole, or diethyl carbamazine yung pwedeng ibigay sa kanya. So, bakit siya binibigay yung gamot na yan? These medications is tinatry niya or ini-eliminate niya yung mga larva para hindi na magpadami. Diba? So, ano daw? It impaired the adult worm's ability to reproduce and it kills the adult worm. So, pinaka-main action is patayin, eliminate yung mismong mga worms para hindi siya dumami. Okay, so the medication are started at low dose to prevent reaction caused by large numbers of dying parasites. So, ibig sabihin, unti-unti, hindi biglang high dose agad. Kasi pag biglang namatay naman sabay-sabay, nagkakaroon ng reaction doon sa katawan ng tao. Okay, for some instances, surgery may be used to remove yung excess tissue. Kasi nga, di ba, lumaki na yung mga legs ng pasyente. Or, pwede rin para ma-drain yung mga fluids dun mismo sa lymphatic vessels na nasira. So, surgery may also ease massive enlargement of the scrotum kasi kung lumaki nga yung bayag ng pasyente natin. So, elephantiasis of the legs can also be helped by elevating the legs and providing support with elastic bandage. So, mas maganda ini-elevate. Kaya kung di nakita nyo kanina, di ba merong nilalagay na parang corset dun sa mismong legs ng pasyente. Para kinocompress para hindi continuously lumaki yung legs na nagkakaroon ng o apektado ng filariasis or nagkakaroon ng elephantiasis. And sabi natin, diethyl carbamazine citrate is 6 mg per kilogram is given daily in either single or divided doses for 2 weeks. So, 2 to 3 weeks po yung treatment sa kanya. Okay, so paano natin siya mape-prevent ngayon? How will we prevent na yung pagkalat niyan? Siyempre, mosquito and scary worms usually bite between hours of dusk and dawn. Ibig sabihin, nangangagat yung lamok na nagdadala ng filariasis or filarial worms every tuwing tuwing bukang liwayway tsaka dapit hapon. Ibig sabihin, sa madaling araw, bago mo sumikat yung araw, tsaka sa hapon, kapag pagpalubog na yung araw. So, therefore, it is advised that people living in an area with filariasis should, ano daw gagawin? Sleep under mosquito net. So, magpupulambo. Mosquito repellents, diba? Especially nga, between the hours kung saan nangangagat yung mga lamok na yan. And take yearly dose of medication that kills the worms circulating in the blood. So, dito, halimbawa, endemic dun sa lugar ninyo yung filariasis or yung filarial worms na yan. So, ina-advise po yung mga taon nakatira doon na magte-take nung medication every year. Kumbaga, parang prophylaxis siya para pag nakagat, mamamatay na yung mga larva o hindi na magre-reproduce yung mga filarial worms na yan. Alright, may question po ba? Wala. Okay, so wala nang question. Let's move in another disease, which is your schistosomiasis. So, other name is your bilharziasis and snail fever. So, from the name pa lang niya, alam nyo na kung ano yung may kasalanan, ano na yung nagdadalanan, which is your snail ang nagdadala po niyaan. Kaya nga siya snail fever yung tawag natin. Okay, schistosomiasis or bilharziasis is a slow progressive disease caused by blood flux of class of Trimatoda. It is a chronic wasting disease. Common affects farmers and their families in certain parts of the Philippines. So, ibig sabihin, yung mga farmer. Kasi bakit? Di ba yung mga suso, usually nandyan yan sa mga, yung mga, mga stream, yung mga tubig-tubig. Di ba? Lumulusong po dyan yung mga farmers. After a malaria and intestinal helminthiasis, schistosomiasis, the third most devastating tropical disease in the world. So, being major source of morbidity and mortality for developing countries in Africa, South America, Caribbean, and Middle East, and even yung Asia. So, ibig sabihin, pangatlo siya. Okay? So, it's not public health concern, but also a socio-economic problem. So, hindi lang po public problem to. Ibig sabihin, socio-economic. Bakit? Sabi natin, di ba? It causes causing ill health and it reduces yung agricultural productivity of the people. Bakit? Di ba sabi natin, ang apektado is yung mga farmers. So, if they will be infected by schistosomiasis, so hindi sila makakapagtrabaho. So, mas mababawasan din yung mga magpa-farm, di ba? So, konti po yung, kaya another problem, kaya damay po yung socio-economic problem. O kaya tinatawag din siyang socio-economic problem, hindi lang health problem. Okay, etiologic agents, sabi natin, this cause of disease in 3 blood flux and genus ng Schistosoma. So, we have your Schistosoma japonica, infects intestinal tract, or tinatawag na Katayama disease. So, ibig sabihin, sa GIT siya. So, the only type that is endemic in the Philippines. So, dito lang siya nakikita, or dito lang siya nagkakaroon. Kaya tinawag din siya na, or kilala rin siya bilang Oriental Schistosomiasis. Next is your Schistosoma mansoni. So, affects the intestinal tract also, and common parts of Africa. Schistosomia hematobium affects the urinary tract and can be found in some parts of the Middle East like yung Iran and Iraq, dun siya nakikita. Okay, so incubation period, So, at least 2 months, sabi dito, para yung mag-incubate siya. So, ganun din siya katagal. So, ano nangyayari? What are the source of infection? So, feces of infected individuals. Diba? Ibig sabihin, tae. Manure of infected animals that can be host of the organism, such as pwede po dyan yung mga dogs, pigs, carabaos, cow, monkey, and mga wild rats. So, ibig sabihin dyan po siya nanggagaling. So, kung nakita nyo yung source of infection, di ba, feces, manure. So, ibig sabihin, cleanliness, para din ma-ano din natin yan, di ba, para ma-prevent, di ba, yung proper disposal ng mga waste. So, mode of transmission, through ingestion of contaminated water, di ba, through the skin pores. No? Pwede siyang pumasok dyan. And the disease is transmitted through an intermediary host, which is your tiny snail called your Oncomelania quadrasi. So, maliit lang po yan na suso. Around 3 mm in size. So, yan po yung mga malilingit lang talaga siya na suso. Yan. So, diba, imagine mo gano'n siya kaliit. Yan, ganyan lang po kaliit yung schistosomiasis or yung suso na nagdadala ng schistosomiasis. So, characteristic or Oncomelania quadrasi. So, snail thrives best along river banks, freshwater stream, creeks, canals, and swamps. So, ibig sabihin, yung mga basa, doon siya talaga, di ba? Kaya nga po, common yan sa mga farmer. So, it can be found clingy to the water hyacinths, grass, decaying leaves, species of rootwoods, bamboos, and coconut. So, usually doon yung sa mga dalampasigan, yung may mga nabubulok-bulok, may mga stagnant na mga dahon-dahon, di ba? Diyan po yan nagtatago or doon sila nagpapadami. So, this species also loves to stay in areas with sandy loam soil. So, mabuhangin na basa. Diyan din sila. So, the adult snail is a greenish-brown in color and is just as big as small grain of unhusked rice. Ibig sabihin, kasi laki lang po siya ng palay. Ganyan lang po kalaki yung snail na yan. So, paano nga ba yun nangyayari sa schistosomiasis? So, sabi natin, yung egg, di ba, nag-hatch siya, nandun siya sa mga water, dun sa mga tubig-tubig na yan, and then yung snail, makukuha niya. And then, from sa snail, pwede pong makapasok yan sa tao. And once nakapasok dun sa circulation ng isang individual, it will now go to your circulation and could affect your GI tract or genitourinary tract. Depende on the species kung ano yung nakapasok. Pero pinaka-common nga po is yung dito sa Pilipinas. Diba yung excuse me. So, how will we diagnose? Sabi natin, through fecalysis or direct stool exam ng mga tao. Okay, we can also do the Cato-Catz technique or Ritchie technique. So, sabihin, hahanapin mismo yung ova, yung itlog, or yung mga cyst dun sa stool, or simply, stool exam po din yan. So, yun lang po yung another name or tawag sa kanya dun sa mismong test na yan. So, we can also do liver and rectal biopsy kasi baka nag-i-stay po dyan doon, nagtatago. Pwede rin kasi sa liver. Di ba sabi natin, kasama sa gastrointestinal natin yung liver. So, enzyme-like immunosorbent assay, ELISA. So, kasama rin po yun sa diagnostic. We also have your circummoval precipitin test is the confirmatory test. So, para malaman kung talaga nandyan siya. So, antibody detection can be also useful to indicate schistosome infection in people who have traveled to areas where schistosomiasis is common and eggs cannot be demonstrated in fecal or urine. So, ibig sabihin, hindi siya makita. Pero yung tao, nagkaroon ng exposure or nagpunta dun sa mga endemic areas na common yung schistosomiasis. So, pwede po yung antibody test para makita rin po siya. Especially kung wala pa po nakikita dun sa urine or sa pupo ng pasyente na mga ova. Okay, so ano daw po yung mga manifestations na makikita natin? Sabi natin, many individuals do not experience symptoms. Diba? If symptoms do appear, it usually takes 4 to 6 weeks from the time of infection to manifest. So, matagal. Halos or more than 1 month bago makita yung mga manifestation kay patient. Ano ngayon yung makikita? Sabi natin, the signs and symptoms depends on the site of infection. Diba? Sabi nga natin, di ba pwedeng GI, pwedeng urinary tract. So, however, the following can observe. So, 12 hours after infection, there will be a pruritic rash developed at the site of the entrance of the microorganism or tinatawag natin na swimmer's itch. Halimbawa, lumusong ka dun sa patubig. Nakakapit pala yan sa'yo. Nakapasok dun sa balat mo. So, mangangati yung area kung saan siya nag-enter. So, around 2 to 10 weeks later, magkakaroon na ng low-grade fever si patient. Myalgia, sumasakit na yung mga muscles si patient. And, nagde-develop na rin po ng cough yung pasyente natin. So, weeks or months after of the initial infection, acute schistosomiasis or tinatawag natin Katayama fever occurs as systemic reaction against the remigrating schistosomiolae as they pass through the bloodstream, through the lungs, and to the liver. Ibig sabihin, kaya nagkakaroon na ng fever din si patient na apektuhan. Ibig sabihin, nandun na siya sa circulation ng pasyente natin. Okay, so there will be abdominal discomfort. Kasi nga, di ba, apektado yung liver, namamaga ngayon yung liver ni patient. Namamaga yung spleen ni patient. And even yung lymph nodes si patient, pwede rin pong mamaga. Okay, so there will be, mucoid o bloody mucoid stool, parang dysentery. Diba? Pero on and off yung sa kanya. So the patient becomes icteric and jaundice. Nilalagnat. Tapos, naninilaw na yung patient. Kasi nga ba sabi kanina, apektado yung liver ng pasyente natin. In a later part, so the abdomen becomes distended due to inflammation of the liver, which result to schistosomiasis egg accumulating in that organ. So, kaya siya namamaga. Doon nagpapadami, doon naiipon yung eggs ng schistosomia na yan, yung schistosomiasis na yan. Kaya ngayon namamaga yung liver, nag-i-inflame. And after some years of suffering from this chronic disease, the patients become weak with marked muscle wasting and a pale complexion. Kasi nga, di ba, nasira yung liver ng patient natin. And if the parasite reaches the brain, the victim experiences severe headache, dizziness, and convulsion. So, tandaan nyo lang, yung manifestation nito, kung nasaan yung parasite, yun yung pwedeng mag-manifest sa kanya. Kagaya niyan, sa brain, di ba? Common. Kapag apektado ang brain, merong headache, dizziness, and merong convulsion. Okay, many infections are mildly symptomatic with anemia and nutrition being common in the endemic areas. So, yan yung mga pinaka-common na nakikita natin. Okay, so paano daw yan ititreat? Paano daw siya gagamutin? Ay, nag-close yung PowerPoint. Diba? Perfect. Sige. Sorry naman. Bakit ba nag-close? Pagod na yung PowerPoint. Okay, continue. So, ay nawala rin po ba sa inyo? Ano ba naman? Daming aberya. Ayan, kita na po ulit. Kita na ulit. Okay, so paano daw gagamutin? Sabi natin, treatment modalities for schistosomiasis. Sabi natin, treatment is effective only when given early in the course of disease. So, ibig sabihin, as early as possible. Kasi nga, pag yan nagpadami, di ba masisira na yung liver ng patient. Pwede na maapektuhan. Pwede na yung brain. Okay, so what we give is your praziquantel tablet for 6 months. So, 1 tablet BID for 3 months. Then, 1 tab a day for another 3 months. So, 3 buwan na 2 times a day, 3 buwan na once a day. So, Codeine injection is given either IM or IV. So, the patient should consume 360 mg for the entire treatment. So, yan po yung mga dosage niya. So, sa atin ang mahalaga lang, alam natin yung mga gamot. Okay, if the patient continues to live in endemic areas, so he or she frequently gets infected and has to be treated siya ulit. Kasi nga, doon na siya nakatira. Okay? Oxamniquine is not frequently used due to lack of efficacy against the urogenital form of the disease by, di ba yung hematobium, di ba, urogenital, kaya bihira siya. Pero kapag GI, pwede po si oxamniquine na ibigay kay patient natin. So, how will prevent? So, basic principle of schistosomiasis prevention and control is to interrupt the life cycle of the worm and protect people from the infection. So, babalik tayo ulit dun sa chain of infection. Diba? Para ma-break yan, yung pagdami niya, so, kailangan malaman natin, diba, yung reservoir. Diba? Yung mode of transmission. Diba? Sabi natin, to achieve this, healthcare workers, one must have thorough knowledge on how the disease is spread. So, this can be achieved by, paano daw siya ma-achieve? Yan, submitting samples for stool exam. Kasi doon ka nakatira, di ba? Pwedeng makuha mo siya. Okay, so reduce snail population. Paano, di ba? Cleaning or clearing yung mga vegetation to expose the snail in the sunshine. So, ibig sabihin, yung mga pinagpupugaran nila, linisin, di ba? Yung mga damo-damo na yan, yung mga dahon-dahon, yung mga nabubulok na kahoy. Kasi nga, naaano sila pag sobrang liwanag. Diba? Kaya pag na-expose sila doon, hindi sila dadami. Constructing drainage canal to dry the land surface where the nail stripes and improve farming by proper irrigation and drainage, crop rotation, removal of weeds, thus disturbing the living condition of the snail. So, kaya ayun, aararuin, lilinisin, di ba, yung pagkakanal, di ba? So, ibig sabihin, kumbaga, maaapektuhan, imbis na makapagpadami sila, di ba, ma-i-interrupt natin yung pagpadami. So, how will we diminish now? Diminish infection rate by proper waste disposal, di ba? Control of stray animals, di ba, yung mga pakalat-kalat. Preventing people, especially children, from bathing in infested streams and rivers. Ayan, di ba? Yung mga naliligo sa patubig. Okay, building footbridges over snail-infested streams para hindi na sila lulusong dun sa tubig. So, providing adequate water supply for bathing and laundrying and safe water for drinking. Kasi nga, di ba, para hindi na sila doon kuha sa sapa or, diba, o sa patubig na yan or sa river, di ba? So, the disease process, mode of transmission, and prevention. So, yun yung pinakamahalaga natin na tatandaan. So, carry out the health education of the disease process, mode of transmission, and prevention. So, kailangan i-inform natin yung mga tao na nanirahan sa endemic areas. Paano ba natin mape-prevent yan? Diba? So, paano ba siya nakakalat? Paano ba na itatransfer yung sakit na iyan? Okay, sabi ko nga, complications of schistosomiasis could be liver cirrhosis and portal hypertension. So, kasi nga, sisirain niya yung liver ni patient. And also, sabi nga, pwede rin po yung sa genito-urinary tract ni patient. Diba? So, pupunta siya dun sa bladder, sa ureter, and magkakalsify siya doon. And i-obstruct na yung urinary tract ng patient. You also have your cerebral granulomatous disease. Sabihin dun sa brain o sa spinal cord ng pasyente. Diba? Magkaroon ng myelitis with flaccid paraplegia. So, pwede ma-paralyze po yung pasyente natin. So, kaya importante na ma-prevent, magamot agad yung pasyente na merong schistosomiasis. Okay, may question po ba? May clarification? Malinaw? Okay, thank you po sa mga nagre-respond na dalawa. Tako. Okay, next natin is your leptospirosis. Diba? Sikat na sikat, lalo itong mga recent na nag-uulan, nagbababaha. Tama? So, Wales disease, Canicola fever, hemorrhagic jaundice, mud fever, swine herd disease. So, yan po yung mga other names or tawag sa leptospirosis natin. Pero siya yung leptospirosis yung pinaka mas kilala. kahit saan. So, leptospirosis is a zoonotic infectious disease that originates from both domestic and wild animals. So, the bacterium Leptospira interrogans enter the human body through ingestion and inoculation through a braided skin or mucous membrane. So, yung positive agent na Leptospira interrogans, papasok yan sa balat or sa skinny patient. Ano ba, may gasgas, may sugat, or nalunok mo, pwede rin po yan. Diba? Kasi baka lumusong-lusong ka dun sa baha, diba, may sugat ka pala, o kaya nag-dive-dive ka sa baha, diba, naligo-ligo ka, naihian pala yan, ng infected animals na ingest mo, so pwede kang maapektuhan. So, sabi ko nga, etiologic agent is short, Leptospira interrogans. It is a Spirochaea of genus of Leptospira, which is, chiefly a saporotic aquatic organism. So, ibig sabihin, nasa tubig siya nakikita. River, lake, seawater, and, ayan, found sa mga sewage, sa mga kanal. Kaya nga po, uso yan kapag maraming baha, pag tag-ulan. So, there are 155 serotypes divided among 18 serogroups. Some species are pathogenic to humans and animals, and the organism can survive in water from weeks to months. Hindi nawawala yung baha. Diba? So, sabihin, matagal siyang nandyan. Lumusong ka, pwede mo siyang makuha. Okay, incubation period. So, varies from 6 days to 15 days. Ganyan siya pwede mag-incubate. So, how is it transmitted? Sabi ko nga, ingestion or contact of the skin and mucous membrane with the urine of infected animal or cases of wild and domestic animals. So, pinaka-common na sikat natin is siyempre yung mga rodents, yung mga daga. Yan. So, paano yan sa enter the mucous membrane through eyes, nose, mouth, and through breaks of your skin. So, Leptospira enters the blood and causes damage to your kidneys, liver, meninges, and conjunctiva. So, ibig sabihin, kapag nakapasok yung Leptospira dun sa katawan ng isang tao, pupunta yan sa circulation. Pag pumunta yan sa circulation, ano daw sisirain niya? Yung kidney ng pasyente, yung liver ng pasyente, yung meninges, so maapektado yung brain, and yung mata ng pasyente, nagkakaroon ng apektado. So, sabi, pwede siyang matransfer ng person to person, pero hindi siya masyadong common. Very rare lang na nangyayari yan. So, it is transmitted through animal to person, through dun sa mga ihi. So, ayan po sabi, cattle, swine, livestock, pwede rin yan, dogs, rodents, and wild animals. Pero pinaka-common nga po, yung mga rodents. So, contact with contaminated water, dun siya atin na kukuha. So, source of infection, contaminated food and water, urine of infected wild life and domestic animals, especially nga yung mga rodents natin. Okay, serogroup, sabi natin, Leptospira icterohemorrhagiae or rats caused by Wills disease, which is frequently observed among miners. Diba? Abattoir staff and sea workers, yung malagi nasa tubig, lagi nakalubog sa tubig. Okay, rats that thrive in farmlands transmit your Leptospira bataviae or bataviae. So, to rice field workers, so pwede rin po yan dyan doon makuha. So, tandaan na, hindi lang po sa baha siya pwedeng makuha. Okay, Leptospira canicola, sa mga aso naman. Yan, so usually, ayan, yung mga veterinarians, yung mga breeders, o yung mga dog owners, yan ang pwedeng magkaroon yan. Leptospira cryptotyposa sa mga mice. Yan, so attacks farmers and flax workers, diba, yung mga daga-daga dyan sa mga bukid. Okay, period of communicability. Leptospira can be found in the urine between 10 to 20 days after the onset. So, ibig sabihin, more than a week bago siya lumabas. Okay, leptospirosis is an occupational hazard to people who engage in outdoor activities, especially in tropical climate. So, this disease has also been associated with swimming, wading, and rafting in contaminated lakes and rivers. So, we need to make sure kapag naliligo tayo sa mga ilog-ilog, di ba, alam natin or sigurado tayo na hindi po infected yan. Kasi may tendency na pwede kayo makakuha ng makakuha ng leptospirosis. So, the following groups are high risk for acquiring the disease. Di ba? Rice or crop farmers. Di ba? Kasi, di ba, lulubog yan sa tubig. Di ba? Yung mga tubig-tubig na mga yan, sa mga rice fields. Yan. Dairy farmers. Di ba? Yung mga cattle. Di ba? Mga minero. Yan. Sewer workers. Yan. Veterinarians and mga animal caretakers. At risk din po sila dyan. Military personnel. Kasi nga, di ba, pag nasa gera, kung saan-saan lang din sila. Di ba? People in large cities. Di ba? Sobrang populated na lugar. Tapos bumabaha pa, di ba? Sa Manila. Di ba? Pag lalong nag-uulan. Di ba? So, manifestations, ano daw makikita? So, the degree of illness in leptospirosis varies from asymptomatic to severe to fatal. So, at first, pwedeng asymptomatic yung pasyente. Pero, kapag yan nagkaroon ng symptoms, severe to fatal ang mangyayari kay patient. So, pwedeng talagang mamatay yung pasyente na yan. So, what are the clinical course? In generally by phase 6, sabi natin, initial phase, ano mararamdaman ng pasyente? Abrupt headache. Usually, dun sa frontal area yung sumasakit sa kanya. Fever, muscle aches, and most prominent in the thighs and lumbar area. So, yung legs niya, tsaka yung balakang, yun yung sumasakit or sa likod ng pasyente natin. Diba? Cutaneous hyperesthesia. Diba? Parang may mga tumutusok-tusok, namamanhid. Diba? Chills, rapid rising temperature. So, meron kami ng pasyente, di ba, para sa hindi siyang, kung mapapansin nyo yung manifestation, yung initial, parang trangkaso. So, meron kami yung patient na ganyan, kala niya trangkaso lang yung meron siya. So, hindi nagpa-check up. So, late na nung nagpa-check up siya. Okay, other manifestation, anorexia, nausea, and vomiting, pwede rin po yan. And the symptoms may last for 4 to 9 days dun sa patient natin. And then, kapag in-examine yung pasyente sa physical examination, bradycardic yung pasyente, pero normal yung blood pressure. Diba? So, normal BP, pero mabagal yung tibok ng puso niya. And then, on the 3rd and 4th day, conjunctival effusion. So, iba sabihin, yung mata ng pasyente, apektado na, parang namumula, naninilaw na yung mata ng patient natin. The percutaneous hemorrhage, skin rashes can also be observed sa patient natin. So, yan na po yung itsura ng mata ng pasyente, madilaw na mapula. Diba? Parang nagdudugo na yung mata ng patient natin. So, may ito yung legs niya. Diba? Parang binugbog na, diba? Pero patsi-patsi yung mga pasak nung ayan yung cutaneous hemorrhage natin. So, after the first phase, the patient may recover for a time but become still magiging ill ulit, magkakasakit sa ulit. So, magre-recover pero babalik yung sakit. Okay, second phase, symptoms are more varied and the hallmark of this phase is aseptic meningitis. Meaning, pwedeng apektado na rin po yung brain ni patient and usually lasts for several days. So, fever tends to be milder. Nagkakaroon ng GI symptoms yung pasyente. And myalgia are less intense. Yung pananakit ng mga katawan o yung mga muscle ni patient na babawasan na. However, in ecteric types of leptospirosis, more severe form. So, ano mangyayari kay patient? Pag ecteric, persistent high-grade fever. Sobrang taas. Plus, nagde-deteriorate na yung pasyente natin. Diba? Naninilaw na yung pasyente. Kasi nga, apektado na yung liver. So, ibig sabihin, nagkakaroon na ng liver dysfunction. Nagkakaroon na ng problem sa function ng liver si patient. Kaya siya naninilaw. Ayan, di ba? Color yellow na yung mata ng patient natin. So, the heart could also be affected. Myocarditis. Decreased renal function. Di ba? Pwedeng decrease urine output or mataas yung BUN creatinine ni pasyente. Okay, pulmonary complications. Diba? Pwede rin po sa lungs. or pwede mag-bleed yung patient natin. So, renal failure is due to acute tubular necrosis but usually does not require dialysis kasi nga sinisira lang niya yung distal tubule ng patient natin sa kidney ng pasyente natin. So, early recognition of renal failure is critical to patient survival and complete anuria is a sign of poor prognosis kasi hindi na nga umiihi yung pasyente natin. So, pulmonary involvement, siyempre lang. So, uubuhin yung pasyente. Nahihirapan huminga yung pasyente. May blood dun sa, pag umubo yung pasyente, may kasamang dugo yung plema niya and nagkakaroon ng chest pain. Okay, so decreased hepatic function, jaundice are common, but hepatic failure is seldom that cause of death. So on the other hand, jaundice is a sign of poor prognosis. The case fatality rate of patient with jaundice and kidney damage may reach up to 20% if not treated with renal dialysis. So ibig sabihin, kapag po na-diagnose yung pasyente or nagkaroon na ng problem, hepatic function problem, diba? So around 20% nasisira na siya. So, kaya po siya dinadialysis para tulungan na malinis. Next is your stage 3 or the septic stage. So, pag sinabing septic, ano yan? Nakakalat na yan. So, the fever, lasting for 4 to 7 days. And then, there is an abrupt onset of remnant fever, chills, and headache dun sa pasyente natin. So, yan po yung lalabas. Tapos, anorexia, abdominal pain, severe prostration, and there is also respiratory distress and fever subsides at kakarealisis. Nasisira or nadidistract yung mga hemoglobin ng pasyente natin or yung blood cells ng patient natin. And immune or toxic stage, sabi, pwedeng with or without jaundice that lasts for 4 to 30 days. So, pag ganyan, ano naman? May iritis, diba? Kaya namumula yung mata. Headache, yan, diba? Alam mo, galit, tulala, yan, namumula na yung iris ng patient natin. So, meningeal manifestation, siyempre, brain. So, disoriented yung pasyente. Mayroong convulsion yung pasyente. And, CSF findings if aseptic meningitis. So, pag tinignan yung CSF ni patient, dun siya mako-confirm. Oliguria and anuria with progressive renal failure. So, that could lead to shock, coma, and pwede rin po magkaroon ng congestive heart failure yung patient, diba, for mga severe cases. And death may occur between 9 to 16 days. So, ganun lang ka bilis. Sabihin, kapag nagkaroon ka na itong leptospirosis, hindi ka na-treat agad, pinabayaan, you only have 9 to 16 days para mabuhay. And ganyan po yung nangyari doon sa patient namin. Late na po siya nagpa-check up. Nung naninilaw na siya, naninilaw na yung mata, namumula na yung mata niya, yun na po siya nagpa-check up. Diba? Nandun na siya sa septic stage na nung na-diagnose yung patient. Kaya nahirapan ng habulin. Okay, so how will we manage leptospirosis? So we can give penicillin G sodium 1.5 million QID. So IV po yan. Tetracycline 10 to 20 milligrams per kilogram body weight divided into 24 hours yan divided in QID. So 4 times a day. Peritoneal dialysis, pwede rin po. Or administration of fluids and electrolyte and blood as indicated. So, pwedeng fluid replacements. So, without treatment, leptospirosis can lead to kidney damage, meningitis, liver failure, respiratory distress, and even death. So, ang kinamamatay po ng pasyente na may leptospirosis is yung hindi siya na-treat, so sinira niya yung mga organs ng patient natin. Okay, so paano mape-prevent? Diba? Prophylaxis. Diba? Lumusong ka sa baha. Diba? At risk ka. So, pwede po mag-doxycycline 20 mg per week dun sa pasyente. Yan. Sanitation in homes, workplace, and farms. Diba? Kung malinis, diba? Hindi yan papamahayan ng mga daga. So, proper drainage system, ayan, control pests or control of rodents. O, hindi na bayaan natin na dumami. So, vaccination of animals, yung mga alaga, di ba? Cattle, dogs, cats, and pigs. Pwede rin po iyan. And treatment of infected peoples and yung mga pets na meron sa kanya. So, effective information dissemination campaign, di ba? Para ma-prevent din, di ba? Nag-update tayo, di ba? Kaya nga, kapag uulan, nagbabaha, di ba? Mapapansin nyo sa news, di ba? Kadalasan meron yung mga flash. Pina-flash nila na, avoid po yung paglusok sa buha, di ba? Kasi nga, pwede dyan siya makuha. Ayan. So, kung hindi maiwasan, gumamit po ng bota. Especially o lalo-lalo na kapag may mga sugat sa lower extremity, sa paa, sa legs yung pasyente. So, wash me thoroughly with soap and water after wading through the blood area. So, maghugas agad-agad. Instruct patients, sibling and other to watch for signs and symptoms of leptospirosis. Kapag ito lumabas, liver pain at the muscle of the legs ay nagkaroon ng headache yung patient natin. Periorbital or intraocular pain, sumasakit yung mata ng pasyente. Yan. Yellowish discoloration sa sclera din sa skin. So, magsisimula maninilaw yung mata, tapos yung balat ng pasyente. Ihi, tea-colored urine. So, parang tsaa yung kulay ng ihi. So, sometimes, vomiting, coughing, or diarrhea yung pasyente. So, consult a healthcare practitioner immediately once symptoms above are occurred para maagapan po natin. So, as a nurse, ng mga tandaan, isolate patient and his urine should be disposed properly. So, keep patient under close surveillance. Diba? Tingnan mo kung nagkakaroon ng progress, improvement, or nagde-deteriorate yung patient. Investigate contacts and source of infection. So, history taking. Saan po ba kayo nagpupunta? Saan po ba kayo lumusong? Ayan, sino may mga kasama nyo? For home care, clean dirty places and pools. Remove stagnant water if possible. And eradicate the rats and other disease-carrying rodents natin. Ayan. So, kailangan mabawasan, hindi siya mapadami. Ayan po. Alright, may question po ba? May clarification? Bago po natin tapusin yung topic, yung ating vector-borne diseases. Wala? Okay, so the last disease is your rabies. Okay, hydrophobia or lysa. So, pinakasigat, rabies. So, ano nga ba yung rabies? Sabi natin, rabies is an acute, zoonotic, and life-threatening viral infection transmitted to humans through the saliva of infected animals. Tandaan na, animal. So, ibig sabihin, hindi lang aso ang pwedeng magkalat or makapagbigay sa'yo ng rabies. So, rabies is almost always fatal following the onset of clinical symptoms. Dogs are the most common reservoir for rabies virus, and dog bites account 99%. So, siya yung pinaka-common, pero meron pa pong iba. At tandaan, sa rabies, once lumabas na po yung symptoms, mag-aantay ka na lang. Okay, so tingnan nyo po itong video ng isang patient o isang rabies patient na meron na na-document natin.
Rabies is one of the most terrifying diseases known to humans. And if the symptoms develop, you need medical attention or you're going to die.
In 1955, this man was attacked by a rabid wolf. The medical team at the Pasteur Institute in Iran filmed the progression of his disease.
This man developed symptoms of rabies. He displays a characteristic restlessness and agitation. As a precaution against the convulsions which commonly occur in rabies, the patient is secured hand and foot. The most familiar clinical symptom of rabies is associated with difficulty in swallowing. When fluid comes in contact with the throat, it is violently expelled, at the same time producing painful, spasmodic muscular contractions.
The medical team could do nothing but document this man's rabies. Within 5 days, he was dead.
The problem with rabies is that, unlike most diseases which Mother Nature is merciful, in which you lapse into coma or are obtunded, with rabies, as you're dying, you are intermittently fully coherent, and you can fully express verbally to your family how scared you are, how awful it is, and how you know you're going to die. So for that reason, it's really, really feared.
The thing about rabies is that it affects the nervous system. So it affects the brain, the spinal cord, the thinking parts of a mammal. And it doesn't just randomly wreck those thinking parts, it changes them in a specific way to help the virus succeed. Western medicine has made a lot of progress in fighting rabies. In fact, if you get rabies from an animal, there will be several weeks before you get symptoms, and there's still time in there for medicine to work. But once those symptoms develop, that virus has made its way into your brain. And at that point, medicine may not be able to help you at all.
Yan. So, di ba? Ganun po yung nangyayari sa patient or rabid patient natin. So, immunogenic agent is rhabdovirus. So, rhabdovirus is a bullet-shaped, filtrable virus with strong affinity to the central nervous system. So, yan po yung inaatake ng virus na yan. So, rhabdovirus is sensitive to sunlight, ultraviolet light, and ether, formalin, mercury, nitric acid, and it's resistant to phenol, methylate, and common antibacterial agents natin. So, incubation period. Sabi dito, 1 week to 7 months in dogs, 10 to 15 years in humans. So, ganun siya katagal. Kaya halimbawa, nakagat ka po nung bata ka, kasi hindi ka nagpabakuna, bilang ka ng 15 years. Pwede pa po siya. Lalo na kung halimbawa, sa paa ka nakagat. Di ba? Mabagal pa yung travel niyan. So, incubation period depends upon the following factors. The distance of the bite to the brain. The closer the bite to the brain, the shorter the incubation period. Extensiveness of the bite. Gaano kalala? Di ba? Malalim kinagat ka ba? Nagasgasan ka lang ba? Di ba? So, yan po yung pwedeng mangyari. So, extensive bites expose more tissue to the rabid animal's saliva and may influence the viremic load inoculated on the wound, increasing the risk of acquiring the disease. So, depende kung gaano din kalaki yung sugat. Ano pa daw? Species of animals. Several species of domesticated and wild animals harbor the organism. Amount of the blood vessel and nerves in the bite site. Diba? Kung natamaan yung ugat, yung mga nerves na yan, diba? Naka-jackpot. So, the microorganism reaches to the spinal cord and the brain through the nerves and the blood. So, ibig sabihin, dun siya ngayon pupunda na yan. And, the resistance of the host play a very important role in acquisition of the disease. So, ibig sabihin, yung panlaban din po ng isang tao. Okay, so paano nga ito siya natatransmit? Disease is transmitted primarily to bite of animal, rabid animal. Transmission can also occur. Infectious material, usually saliva, comes from dry contact or with human mucosa or fresh skin wounds. Yan. So, basta infection na transfer siya. Okay, contraction of rabies through inhalation of virus containing aerosol. Diba kumapit doon? Through transplantation of infected organs. Pero pinaka-rare naman po. Yan. Kasi halimbawa, di ba, years ago, nakagat siya, tapos hindi siya nag-donate siya ng organ. Pwede po mangyari, pero very rare siya. So, period of communicability, the patient is communicable 3 to 5 days before the onset of the symptoms during the entire course of illness. Ayan. So, ito po, tingnan nyo po yung diagram na to. So, siyempre, di ba, the more na mas malayo siya, mas matagal. Di ba, pag sa dito, virus cannot penetrate intact skin. If the bite breaks the skin, the virus enter the underlying tissue and starts to replicate. So, magpapadami siya, tapos magta-travel pa siya para makapunta dun sa spinal cord. Okay, the virus of the nerve moves upward. So, pataas po talaga siya. From center to distal. Papunta talaga dun sa spinal cord. So, the virus replicates further at the dorsal root ganglion and travels to the spinal cord. So, magpapadami siya and reaches and infects the brain. And kapag naapektuhan na yan, ano na daw po yan? Salivary glands, eye, kidneys, cerebral. Kaya nga po naglalaway din po yung patient natin. Okay, so form of rabies. So people with furious rabies exhibits the following signs. Hyperactivity. Di ba nakita niya kanina? Hindi siyang pakali. Excitable behavior. Tapos ano pa daw? Hydrophobia. Ayaw na niya ng tubig. Kahit lagaslas ng tubig, ayaw niya na, takot na siya. Doon sa patient, yung patient natin. Photophobia. Ayaw niya rin ng maliwanag. Ayaw niya din ng malakas na hangin. Yan po yung mga ayaw ng mga pasyente na yan. So, death occurs after few days due to cardiorespiratory distress. Yun po ikakamatay ng patient. Ang masakit po dito, gising or nasa ulirat yung pasyente habang nangyayari yung mga symptoms na yan. Ramdam niya talaga lahat ng pain. Next, paralytic rabies accounts about 30% of total number of human cases. These forms of rabies runs less dramatic and usually longer course than the furious form. So, muscle gradually becomes paralyzed starting at the site of the bite and scratch. So, nagkakaroon ng paralyzation yung or napaparalyze yung patient natin. And coma slowly develops and eventually death. So, either way, mamamatay yung patient. So, paralytic form of rabies is often misdiagnosed contributing to an reporting disease. So, minsan, kala nila kasi nag-stroke yung pasyente. Pero ayun pala, paralytic rabies pala yung nakuha ng pasyente natin. So, manifestation, prodromal and invasion of face, characterized by fever, anorexia, malaise, sore throat, lacrimation, perspiration, inability, hyperexcitability, apprehensiveness, restlessness, sometimes drowsiness, mental depression, melancholia, and marked insomnia. So, hindi na po makatulog yung pasyente. So, yung mga initial, unang makikita dun sa pasyente na nagkaroon ng nagmamanifest na yung rabies sa kanya. Then, pain at the bite. Diba? Normal naman yun. Headache, tas nausea. Then, nagsisimula na maging sensitive to light and sound and temperature yung patient natin. So, pain and aches in different parts of the body. So, paresthesia, numbness, tingling, and cold sensation dun sa peripheral nerves ng pasyente. Dun sa may site kung saan siya nakagat. And then, mild difficulty in swallowing. Diba? And then, ito na, pupunta na dun sa excitement or neurologic phase or encephalitic phase. Ibig sabihin, nag-progress na, naapektuhan na yung nervous system ni patient. That's why, nagkakaroon ng excessive motor activity. Di ba? Hindi siya mapakali. Excite, agitated yung pasyente. Confused, combative na yung pasyente. Di ba? Lalaban na. Di ba? Nagkakaroon ng paralysis and na pwedeng parang wala sa sarili. Kasi seizure. Kaya nag-spasm na yung patient. So, hyperesthesia and autonomic dysfunction, dilate pupils. So, kaya dilat yung pasyente natin. Then, severe and painful spasm of the muscle of the mouth, pharynx, and larynx, and attempt to swallow the food, and even, kaya nga po, ayaw nila ng tubig, kasi in pain yung pasyente, kasi apektado na po yung nagsasend ng signal or yung cranial nerves ng pasyente with regards to, kaya very painful sa kanila kapag lumulunok sila, kaya tulo lang ng tulo yung laway, hindi sila makalunok. Okay, aerophobia or fear of air, photophobia, sensitivity to light. So, hydrophobia or fear of water refers to set of symptoms in the later stage of infection in which person has difficulty of swallowing, show panic when presented with liquid. So, nagwawala siya pag nakita na yan. Diba? So, makakarinig ng lagaslas ng tubig, magwawala yung patient na yan. Then, ayun nga, naglalaway po yung pasyente natin. So, parang bumubulak-bulak yung bibig. Diba? Violent involuntary contraction of the diaphragm and accessory muscles. So, nagko-contract na. And pwede rin po magkaroon ng priapism yung pasyente. Spontaneous ejaculation. So, continuously nilalabasan po yung patient natin. And death may occur during the episode of spasm or cardiac respiratory failure. However, the patient survives during this phase, he deteriorates rapidly and enters the terminal or paralytic phase. So, ano na yung paralytic? Becomes quiet and unconscious na yung pasyente. Wala nang bowel and bladder control. Diba? Spasm and cease yung progressive ng paralysis. Tachycardic and labored na yung breathing. Irregular na yung breathing ng pasyente. And mamamatay din po yung pasyente natin. Ano kaya namatay? Respiratory paralysis, circulatory collapse, or heart failure yung ikamamatay ng patient natin. So, how is it diagnosed? So, virus isolation from the patient's saliva or sa throat, kukuha dyan. Fluorescent antibody test, di ba, kukuha din ng sample. Or, presence of Negri bodies in the dog's brain. So, kaya nga po, kung meron na sa inyo nakagat niyan, di ba, ang sabi, di ba, o-obserbahan yung aso ng 2 weeks kung hindi magbabago yung kanilang ugali. Pag nagbago yung ugali or namatay yung aso, kinukuha po yung ulo ng aso, tapos dadalhin po yan sa sa RITM or sa San Lazaro to check if merong presence na Negri bodies. Pag positive sa Negri bodies yung brain ng aso, positive sa rabies. So, ibig sabihin, kabahan na, kailangan na agad ng agarang treatment yung patient. So, ano yung iti-treat? Diba? So, kailangan na bigyan ng vaccine. And, pagdating po sa mga animal bite, meron po tayong 3 kategory na tinatawag. So, pag first category, touching or feeding animals or nilawayan ka ng aso, pero intact yung skin. Sabihin, wala kang sugat. So, hindi naman kailangan magpa-vaccine. Walang post-exposure prophylaxis na ibibigay kay patient. So, hugasan lang po ng running water na may sabon at sabunin po yung part na dinilaan ng aso or ng any animal. Pag category 2 naman, nimbling or uncovered skin, scratch, minor scratch or abrasion. Na-scratch ka, nakalmot ka, nadilaan yung sugat mo, immediately kailangan mo po ng vaccine. Kailangan mo po magpa-inject ng anti-rabies vaccine. Okay, category 3, single or multiple transdermal scratches, leak on broken skin, contamination of broken skin, and sabihin, nakagat ka talaga, sugat-sugat talaga siya, di ba? Yan. So, pag ganyan po, bukod po sa anti-rabies vaccine, bibigyan din po kayo ng immunoglobulin. So, ano nga pinagkaiba ng anti-rabies vaccine sa immunoglobulin? Kapag immunoglobulin, so yung vaccine, doon siya mismo i-inject doon sa mismong bite site para i-infiltrate niya yun, hahanapin niya yung virus para patayin. Kapag naman rabies vaccine, intradermal siya ibibigay, ngayon, para mag-create ng antibody yung katawan mo, para labanan habang nagpo-progress yung rabies, or kung magpo-progress man yung rabies. So, yun po yung pinagkaiba nilang dalawa. Kaya importante po na nagpapabakuna, huwag masyadong ipagsawalang bahala. Kasi di ba, tagal ng incubation period. Meron nga po dito sa amin, meron nangyari last month, nakagat nung pusa, tapos, hindi siya nagpa-inject, wala daw kasing pera, taka, alaga naman daw nila yung pusa. After 2 weeks, nabalitaan namin, wala na yung pasyente. Yan. So, kaya, mag-ingat po tayo pag nakagat na or nakalmot na mga hayop. Okay, so how will we prevent and control eradication of rabies should be on a global scale and should include measures to prevent the control of the disease in the animals and wildlife. So, may vaccination po. Yan, pabakunahan. Ang pagkakaalam ko po sa mga munisipyo, meron po mga libreng vaccine po dyan para sa mga hayop. Yan, so, i-check nyo na lang po kung tuwing kailan po yung schedule. Enforcement of regulation for pick-up and removal of stray dogs. Diba? So, kaya sa ibang lugar po, sa ibang area, ibang city, yung mga pakalat-kalat ng mga aso, hinuhuli po nila yun. Dinadala sa shelter. Okay, confinement for 10 to 14 days of any dog has been bitten a person. So, ayan nga, di ba? 2 weeks po, obserbahan yung aso na nakakagat ng tao. Okay, laboratory facilities for observation and diagnosis, public education, especially children, in avoiding and reporting all animals that appear sick. So, meron naman dyan yan, di ba yung napanood sa balita, yung nakagat ng aso, or nakalmot ata yun, hindi niya sinabi sa parent niya, nagulat na lang yung magulang, ayun, nagkaroon na ng sintomas yung patient. So, implementation of Republic Act 9482, Anti-Rabies Act of 2007. So, responsibilities of pet owners, and Republic Act 8485, known as Animal Welfare Act. Sabihin yung protection ng mga animals na yan. So, nursing management. So, promote emotional and spiritual support. Ensure patient's optimum comfort. Yun na lang po yung kaya nating i-provide kapag lumabas na yung signs and symptoms dun sa patient. So, since yung pasyente, mas nahihirapan siya kapag sobrang liwanag, diliman po natin yung kwarto. Tapos tahimik lang po dapat, hindi mahangin. Patient should not be bathed and remove sources of indication of running water. Kasi nga po, basta narinig niya yan, nakita niya yung tubig, magpapanik yan, mahihirapan yung patient, kaya hindi po siya pinapaliguan. And if IV fluid has to be given, it should be wrapped in a needle, and the needle should be secure and anchored to the vein. So, siguraduhin naka-secure kung naka-IV yung pasyente, di ba nagwawala siya. So, concurrent and terminal disinfection should be carried out po natin. Maglinis po mabuti. Okay, may question po ba with rabies? Sure? Okay, so wala pong question sa rabies. So that's all for our vector-borne diseases natin.